Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to have you all here. First things first, I want to make sure that those who would like to use closed captioning, there should be a link in the chat. Let me copy and paste this again just to, Christine, you copy and paste that link again into the chat just to make sure everyone has it. And I'm still hearing beeps from those who are joining us. So if there's a way to potentially mute that, I would love to do that. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so I just, you can click on the link that I just put to view closed captions. If you have any trouble with captioning, please type in the chat. If you could message Christine Beck, the host, that would be wonderful and ideal. So let's get started. I apologize for the pings. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty getting those muted. So we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone. We are going to learn about the Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program, or AALP. We are really excited to present to you today to tell you about our program. And just a reminder, the Alliance is a proud initiative of the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. And so that is who funds our grant, and we are going to get started. Adam, why don't you introduce yourself? Oh, I think Adam is on mute. So let me work on getting him unmuted. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Great. Thanks, Adam. Okay.
My name's Adam Weiser, and I'm a self-advocate and part of the Ambassador Leadership Program as a graduate.
Okay, and my name is Tara Ahern. I am the project director for the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. Okay. Adam, why don't you tell us about the Alliance?
The Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance Incorporated began in 2028 and is a network of advocates.
2018 or 2008, actually, 2008.
Okay, 2008, and is a network of advocates and self-advocacy groups around Illinois. Our vision is for self-advocates to work together to get the support we need and to live the life we want in the community. Our mission is to speak up for ourselves and each other while working together to make changes in our community.
Wonderful. Okay. And our focus is on empowering people with disabilities to speak up about the things that they want or need, the things that they don't want and don't need. Sometimes that gets forgotten. Action planning their goals and participating in advocacy in whatever way makes sense for them. Some people, that might mean at the personal level in their own life, maybe at the agency or wherever they receive services, in their community, and also for some at the statewide and national level. Adam, tell us what the Alliance does.
Support local groups, work together on important issues, offering networking, advocacy, and learning opportunities, monthly newsletters, webinars, training institute, Alliance Ambassador Leadership Program.
Beautiful. Okay, so just to recap, we support local groups, and the next slide I'm going to talk a little more about that. Work together on important issues. This could mean a variety of things. So we support folks from Illinois who want to be self-advocates. And as we know, people in Illinois, there's a variety of folks, right? So whatever issues are important to the individual, that's what we support them to learn about. So through our webinars and our training institute, we've been able to work with agencies and state operated developmental centers, intermediate care facilities to help people learn about self-advocacy. What does that look like? What does that mean for you? We've done a lot of trainings to help support staff learn about how they can, encourage the people with to be self-advocates. So those are just a few of the things that we do. Here is a map of Illinois, and we currently have 38 self-advocacy groups that we support. Most of these groups are through direct support agencies, so community agencies that support folks through community day services or sheltered workshops. We are really hoping to work more with individuals and state operated developmental centers and intermediate care facilities, because obviously everyone is capable of being a self-advocate, and so if you are from one of those entities, we would love to work with you to see how we can come, maybe do some virtual training and support the folks that you work with or the staff that you have. Okay, so the spark. This is a really exciting slide. This is a photo of James Kanzler. This is a photo of him on the right. He's a dark-skinned man sitting in a wheelchair, smiling with balloons behind him. This is a picture that I took of him several years ago at one of the Alliance's state rallies. So we had a rally to work with the current, at that time, the director of developmental disabilities to really encourage the state to prioritize, day services in the community and to help really just give voice to what people wanted to do during the day. We had a lot of folks around the state sign petitions based on whether or not they liked their current day programming and what they wanted to do, whether it was do stuff at the workshop, go in the community, whatever it was to them. So we really just wanted to have Director Fenton hear from folks and give them a voice. Part of the training that we had incorporated a speak out. So people were able to come up on stage and talk about the things that were important to them. James in particular was someone who really had a kind of a hard time speaking up for himself. And, we worked with him pretty closely along with the staff that he had to support him to be able to get up there and to speak up about what he wanted. And this photo was taken at the moment, right after he spoke. You can see on his face that he's so proud and so excited. And, I think that for me, as someone who supports individuals, that was sort of a spark moment where, this is exactly the moment we want to replicate for those who we serve, right? So, having opportunities where we can empower individuals with disabilities to have these kind of moments where they're excited and passionate. They've identified goals that they have a plan, even if it's just speaking up about what they wear or what they eat, or wanting to cook with staff, or if it's wanting to go to the Capitol to advocate in times that aren't COVID, right? These are all things that we want, and the dreams that we hold for the people we serve. So that's really the spark, is wanting to give this opportunity to more folks in the state of Illinois. And thus, the Ambassador Leadership Program was born. Adam, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the program?
A program that focuses on providing leadership training to self-advocates in the areas of self-advocacy, leadership, and public speaking.
Right, absolutely. So a lot of this comes back to nothing about us without us. Adam, tell me a little bit about what that means to you.
It means that people with disabilities are integrated to the community as one.
Yeah, so integrated in the community for sure, integrated in every aspect of their life, right? So nothing about us without us really means that people with disabilities are in all places and spaces where decisions are being made about them, right? And so we don't want to have tokenism. We don't want to just put people on boards or put people in chairs because we're filling a quota or that's what our executive directors want, right? We want to empower people to have the skills that are necessary to make sure that not only are we including people, but we're taking it a step further, that there's meaningful participation. So part of the challenge that we were seeing before the Ambassador Leadership Program was created was that a lot of folks didn't have a lot of leadership training, right? And that wasn't really something that was being focused on. A lot of day services were, a lot of it was about job training, which is great. We want to make sure people have opportunities to work if that's what they want. But we were seeing that a lot of people didn't have leadership skills. They didn't have public speaking skills. And most importantly, they didn't really have a lot of self-advocacy skills. So we really started to build a curriculum around these 3 areas that we could implement. The program includes 3 things. So we've got in-person group gatherings or remote, because that's where we are at this moment in history. We also have one-on-one mentoring with a support staff, and then some independent work for the individual to do on their own if they're able to. If not, then someone obviously can help them. Okay, Adam, tell us about the first 3 sections.
Section 1, Ambassador 101. Section 2, Research and Technology. And Section 3, Planning and Teamwork.
Right. Okay, so we have 2 binders. The first is our Ambassador Leadership Participant Guide. So this is a 6-section binder that each participant will receive and go through, okay? So we also, just to kind of mention, we also have created a facilitator guide that accompanies the participant guide where, people can learn how to facilitate the program. So that's something we're going to be talking about in a little bit. So section 1, just to kind of go over a little bit, Ambassador 101. So these are things like being on time, thinking about hygiene, what are some things that we want to be conscious of when we're in a leadership role, especially, if we're getting paid for advocacy work, what are some of those things that we want to be really conscious of? And then just kind of setting the stage for how to be successful in the program, setting some goals, things like that. Then we have research and technology, because those are really important. We want to make sure that people are comfortable using technology, and we know some folks aren't able to do that. Maybe they don't have access to a computer or internet. Maybe they've never had an email address or gotten online. So we're going to walk people through what that looks like and just take it step by step, right? The next section is planning and teamwork, kind of self-explanatory. But that will really help, especially in the small groups, help people to work together and to problem solve certain situations that kind of may come up for them. Okay, Adam, what are the last 3 sections?
Public speaking, community, state, and federal advocacy, and graduation.
Right. Absolutely. So public speaking, there's a lot of resources for people to learn how to do public speaking. And one of the big activities for the program is that people give a presentation that's all about them. So that's something that we want to make sure that people leave the program having personal experience doing public speaking, learning about advocacy, different kinds of advocacy, learning who their legislators are. What are some, just sort of like community organizing 101? What are some tools that we can empower people to kind of have in their toolbox so that they can start to be leaders in their agencies? And we'll see as this kind of snowballs and people, as they grow and learn, they have more options and more opportunities. So the last section again is graduation. Adam, what does each section contain?
Presentation, group gathering, mentoring, to-do list, worksheets, independent work.
Right. Yeah, so that first one, presentation. So I have recorded webinars for each section. So that'll be sort of a touchstone for, if you planned or are interested in facilitating the ambassador program wherever you are, there will be webinars as touchstones each month so that, it'll kind of go over what the topics are, maybe go a little more in depth and start to work on some of the worksheets that we have, and then think through some of the actions that people have to work on, or the to-do lists. The other thing is obviously the group gatherings, if that's something that you're able to do. If not, remote. We've had a lot of folks work on Zoom, or we have access to platforms that we can support people to gather. Okay. So again, here is a photo of the participant guide, which I just showed. Adam, can you tell us about vision boards? What's the purpose of them? What do you think about them?
The purpose of it is to show what you like and what your talents are, or your favorite things to do.
Right, or maybe your goals, or maybe some quotes that inspire you. Yeah. So the vision board activity is something that we have as an option for folks. If they want to do it, that's great. If not, that's fine too. We really started this activity because we were meeting with a lot of advocates who, when we talked about hopes and dreams, didn't really know what that was, right? And that was really frustrating and sad, to work with individuals who, one training I did, people were saying, oh, I want hygiene products. That's my dream, is to have enough hygiene products, things that really shouldn't, that should be taken care of already, right? And so having folks who are not really in a place where they are allowed to think about these things, that was really sad and frustrating. And so we wanted to create a space where people could explore some of the things that they like to do, as opposed to, like, when we work with people at their person-centered planning meetings, we focus a lot on the things that people need to do to get to this other place or other level, right? But in the here and now, what are you good at? What do you like? Do you want to travel? Where? What kind of food do you like? What are some, do you want to have a sweetie? Do you want to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend one day? What does that look like? Some of the things that are important to all of us, right? So the vision board activity is to get people thinking about some of these things, and then usually we have people put it in the back of their binder. There's a little kind of like a lip here so that people can look at it and just kind of refer back, right? So this is a fun activity that we have. Adam, can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that were on your vision board, and what your goals were for the ambassador program?
I did I like to travel, I like to listen to music, I like let's see what else. I like to let me see. I'm trying to think for a second. I like to hang out with friends, go on a bike ride, go on walks. Yeah, so that's what I know.
Yeah, and I think you had on yours, you wanted to be in a relationship too, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here are some photos of a couple vision boards. On the left, we have someone who really wants to travel. We've got some alcoholic beverages there, wanting to have some cocktails with friends. We've got a little graduation cap, a little sticker about faith. And then, on the right, we have, some restaurants. We've got some wedding bands, people holding hands, some animals, money, all things that we all love, right? And then here, a couple more. We had someone who, on the left here, who wanted to learn to drive, which is really exciting, and then maybe own their own house or move into their own house, right? Probably not have roommates. We hear that quite often. Do some sport activities, dreams come true. It's kind of hard to see, these are a little blurry, but you get the picture, right? Again, on the right, we have traditions and family. That was something that was really important. We've got some more kitties and doggies, and just lots of words of affirmation that people really related to. It's always fun to see what people are drawn to. And most people really like this activity. We also encourage support staff and facilitators to do this activity as well. It's just really fun and a good way to start out the program and start out the year too, if that's what you're into. Okay, so here's a sample calendar that we have in the binder itself. So this is something that we encourage people to really, at the beginning of the program, to think about. When is your group going to gather? Is there a certain day of the month, a certain time that works? And then when are you going to meet with your facilitator one-on-one? And then will you require any check-ins? Some people like to work independently and they're, able to do that. We've had people fly through this curriculum in a month. We've also had people that take longer than, a couple months or 6 months, right? It just depends on how much support people have, how motivated they are, right? So the people that if you're here because you're considering becoming a facilitator, just keep that in mind too. Not everyone works at the same pace. So having those meetings monthly is a really good idea to just get everybody together. Usually we recommend at the beginning of the month. That way, if people need more individual support and check-ins, those can happen, just to make sure that everything is completed. If you're doing a monthly schedule, that people have everything done by the end of the month. Okay, so here's an example of the to-do list that we have. So these will be at the beginning of each section. So they're pretty basic, right? Mostly you're going to have folks look through the binders, review their calendars, review any worksheets or activities that we have assigned, and then each month will have different activities, of course. And then here on the right side, we have additional resources. So if someone learns about something that they want to include or reference, put that there. And then what I still want to learn about the leadership program. So this could be things you want to learn about the program or things you want to learn in general, goals that you have. Just so we wanted to create a space where people could, create or take their own notes or, write down things that are important to them. Okay, here's an example of the worksheets. So besides the to-do list, we'll have some worksheets for folks to think through. The worksheets may have questions or scenarios. We did a really thorough review of the program. Thank you to my amazing colleague, Christine, who, we created a really dense curriculum several years ago, and we spent the last year of 2020 in the pandemic. We really buckled down to work through all of the worksheets in every month to make sure that, or every section, to make sure that things are readable and to make sure that they're highlighting different ways that people learn, right? So maybe some people, reading is going to be a challenge for them. Please don't let that be a deterrent. We've had folks that really don't read and write complete the program successfully. So having sections where we can have people check boxes or, help them, if the facilitator can write something quickly. We wanted to make sure that we're conscious of that, this is something that, is very individual. The most important thing is for people to learn and to grow in whatever capacity works for them. And so the worksheets are designed to be user-friendly. And also, as you're going through, if there's something that you think could work better, please let us know, because we're always looking to improve. And then we have handouts. So these are things like pieces of the self-advocacy puzzle. This is a presentation that the Alliance does pretty regularly for self-advocates around the state about, self-advocacy. Here are the pieces. And if you know them, you are a self-advocate anytime, anywhere. Who can you speak up to? What do you care about? When and where is it appropriate? or what is the goal you have, or what is something that you want. We've worked with individuals in state operated developmental centers who want to move out, or maybe they want to do something different, or people at agencies in the community who want to have a different roommate, or they want to take part in cooking. These are all things that we've encouraged people to just know who they have to talk to, and if they don't get the answer they want, what does that look like? So maybe asking follow-up questions like, what do I need to do to be at the level where I can do this or this, right? So I think a lot of this is about empowering people to understand why things are happening, why certain, right? So this is something that we really encourage people to keep referencing. Okay, Adam, why don't you read this quote?
I speak up and speak out for myself and for others.
Right, so this is, we're going to see a couple quotes throughout the presentation from former ambassadors about their time in the program. So I speak up for myself and for others, absolutely. Okay, ambassadors are advocates. These photos are from a couple years ago, 2017, when the federal government was considering cutting the budget of the state developmental disability councils, so the DD councils. As I mentioned before, the alliance is funded by the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. So there was a campaign that we launched to connect with our senators, and at the time President Trump, about making sure that these funds were not cut. DD funds in particular are really one of a kind. They fund innovative projects and programming for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in a way that there really isn't any other funding stream, right? So the programs and services we get from the state for this population, it's just, there's not a lot of flexibility, and so DD Council funding is really important for especially for people with IDD to become self-advocates and learn about advocacy. So these are photos of some of our former ambassadors filling out petitions. Okay, Adam.
Encouraging other individuals to speak up and speak out. Helping agencies, organizations to provide more opportunities for individuals to participate.
Right. So we talked about nothing about us without us before. It's really important that we walk the talk, right? We want the folks that we serve to be in the room where it happens. We want them to be leaders so that they can help inform us and inform the way that our service delivery system works, and the ways that maybe it's not really the best it could be. I think that the more we listen to the people we serve and the more we give them opportunities, the better it is for all of us, right? And so something that we also encourage is for agencies to think about ways that they can incorporate advocate leaders into the things that they do. Whether that's having people be on committees or boards, making sure that every agency or state operated developmental center has a self-advocacy group or consumer council, that it's advocate run if possible. And really the goal is that facilitators are sort of like in the corner, right? Making sure that, yeah, I think they're there for support, but that as much as we can, encouraging people to lead their own meetings and to create their own goals for the agency and to really become more empowered. Adam?
I didn't know that I could ask Siri to do things for me. Now I do them all the time. I've learned about how technology helps people. I advocate for those with disabilities and visual impairments.
Ooh, this is really interesting. So yeah, a lot of folks are now learning about technology, and access to technology is just, it's a whole other world, right? So using technology to help people in their own lives, but then it helps them connect with each other, and also learning about accessibility features that can help some people with different types of disabilities. Ambassadors are public speakers. This is really exciting to see. You know, we've worked really hard to make sure that at conferences and trainings that, you know, we're hearing from the people we serve so that they can inform us, right, of what they want and need. These are just some photos of advocates speaking at different conferences. In the center, we have a photo of three gentlemen and then myself who spoke at the National Self-Advocates Becoming Empowered conference in Birmingham, Alabama, which was really exciting. So they presented on the ambassador program, which was such a dream come true. And then on the bottom left, we have folks speaking at the ARC of Illinois convention. And then on the right, we have a former ambassador doing a presentation about his story, which was really exciting. Here is a screen of, let's see, we've got 4 photos. These are all former ambassador classes. So this here is our first one on the top right. Oh no, that's not our first one, I don't think. Maybe that's our second one. So we've had lots of ambassadors go through the program at different times. You can see lots of smiling, happy faces, lots of excitement. Okay, so now we're going to come back to James. So as I mentioned before, the spark, James was the one who inspired the program. And I'm going to have Adam read the quote from James, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about him.
For years, I had a dream of wanting to live safely in my own community and have healthy relationships. After a year of advocating, I am happy to report that I'm now living in the community in a CILA. I love it.
Yeah, so a CILA is a community integrated living arrangement. So James has given permission to share a little bit about him. He wanted to be here today, but he was unable to. James he was living in kind of an unhealthy situation, and he really wanted to move out. He wanted to, you know, access his community more and live in a CILA. And so after a lot of advocating, right? Lots of, okay, if not now, when, and what do I need to do to get there? You know, I think that was really helpful for him, having, you know, dates and things to work towards. He eventually moved into a CILA, which was really exciting for him. James is also someone who struggles with reading and writing. And, you know, that can be really challenging if you're a public speaker, right? Sometimes memory can be, his memory can be a challenge. So we were really creative in developing some workarounds for him to be able to present and to talk about the things that were important to him. James here in this picture is holding his vision board. His ambassador goals were to become an Alliance board member and to work on public speaking and do some public speaking. So happy to report that James is now the vice chair of the Alliance Board of Directors. He has done many public speaking presentations, including like in the other photo, speaking at a national conference about the ambassador program. He was a keynote speaker at Speak Up, Speak Out 2 years ago. He continues to do really cool kick-ass things in the community. So James is a real success story. And then here is also James presenting at one of the person-centered planning forums. This is former DDD director Greg Fenton. Allison Stark is now the new director, but James was really excited to share some goals that he had, including some footwear designs that he was working on and developing at his day program up in Zion, Illinois. Okay, Adam, let's read through this quote.
I love researching famous people with disabilities. I also research people with cerebral palsy. I learned about my disability.
Right. Adam, do you remember this activity during the program?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I think it was really great, you know? Mm-hmm. I got to learn about this painter who lives in London, and he has, I think he has autism. Okay. And it was so amazing to see how he's able to create pictures in his mind.
Right. And then get them out kind of like on a canvas or wherever.
Yes, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really popular activity. People really like this. So during one of the months, we have people research famous individuals with disabilities. There's so many, and a lot of people that we're all just kind of watching every day, we don't even know that they have disabilities or challenges. And so this is a way that people can really start to see, wow, they're doing it, right? And there's really no limitations. And a lot of that we put on ourselves or society or the system puts on us, right? So I think this is something that people find common ground. It's also really fun for them to learn about people they may not have known have disabilities, and maybe someone that has a disability that's similar to their own. And thank you for sharing, Adam. That was really
Okay.
cool to hear about the person that you engaged with or you learned about. Adam, tell us about self-advocacy presentations. So this is again, these are some quotes from individuals who became presenters. Tell us what they had to say.
I have helped with self-advocacy presentations in the Chicagoland area. I feel happy to inspire people and help them learn about ways to speak up for what they want in their life. When I first started, I was scared and now can speak up about anything I want.
Oh, yes, that's really important. That, advocacy is sort of like a door, right? That sometimes people feel really frustrated, and advocacy is really something that is life changing for folks. That gives them a sense of purpose and gives them the ability to share what's important to them. And again, I think that going back to when people that we serve are young, from the time they're very young, we have a culture of compliance where we expect the people we serve to ask for permission to do things. We, people who may need physical support to do things have to rely on staff or family, and that's okay. But they're not always empowered to ask or to tell us what they want or need, and maybe they don't even really know how to do that. So I think that the ambassador program and advocacy in general are just ways that we can empower people. Okay, another quote, Adam.
Ambassadors are more likely to reach out for help and share ideas. They are active in finding out information.
Absolutely, love that. Okay, so we talked about this before, nothing about us without us. Here again are some ways that people with IDD have advocated. In the center, we have an image of many different individuals meeting with legislators and executive directors at the Capitol. This is for the Going Home rally that happens every year. On the bottom left, we have Tavares Wesley, who is the Alliance board chair. He is on a panel with some individuals from the Division of Developmental Disabilities talking about advocacy services, answering questions. So this photo I really love because we're walking the talk, right? We're actively showing folks that people with IDD need to be front and center. And on the bottom right, we have a photo of a former ambassador doing a presentation at the Arc of Illinois Convention. And obviously he is very excited and getting a lot of praise, which he deserved. Okay, so next steps, wanting to talk through, now that we have a little bit more of an understanding of what the ambassador program is about, what does that mean for you, whoever you are, wherever you are, right? If you're on the webinar today, maybe you're a person with a disability who wants to complete the program. Maybe you're a staff at an agency or a state op or ICF who wants to maybe think about facilitating the program wherever you are. All great things. Maybe you're a family member. We want to answer all of your questions. So if you have some of those, please type in the chat. But in the meantime, we want to let you know that we are going to be holding a facilitator training. So for those of you who want to be a facilitator or maybe have your agency or organization participate as facilitators. We're going to be holding that in early March. We will be offering continuing education units provided by the state, which is exciting. So if you're interested in participating, please email me. I'm going to throw my email address into the chat box and you can connect with me directly. So just wanting to say a little more about that. The expectation really is that those who are interested in attending the facilitator training in March or early April will run through the 6-session curriculum. So we will be sending you the binders in the mail. We have funding to be able to do this. So we will be there to support you throughout the process of you running the full curriculum, which is really exciting that we have the funds and ability to take this program to the next step. So we have been facilitating it historically, but now we want to just sort of give the program to the community. But for the first couple rounds, we really want to make sure that we're here to help problem solve anything that might come up, right? So that's really exciting. And now we'd love to take some questions, or we have time for comments and considerations. Here is an email address that you can connect with Christine and myself, info@selfadvocacyalliance.org. And then here is our website and Facebook page. While we're pausing for questions, I'm going to type my email address. Adam, can you tell the group what your ambassador goals were?
Yes, my ambassador goals were to speak out to other groups about disabilities, talk to senators about how unfair it is about losing benefits, or to talk to a transition group.
Okay, I love that. So you were able to accomplish some of your goals, right?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been able to join the learning about sex education, and I've been able to speak to others about, how disabilities have affected, my disability has affected me. And it's been really good because I like to share about myself and learn more about ableism or things like that.
Right. So I just want to kind of brag on Adam a little bit. Adam is someone I've known for years through Center for Independent Futures in Evanston, where I do some activities. And, Adam has taken so much initiative, and he was really, just passionate throughout the program, and just always emailing me to see what opportunities are available. He's always game to, co-present. And when I put him on the spot, he's like, yeah, he rises to the occasion, which we love to see. So Adam, just wanting to send you some love and to see how far you've come, and all the great things that you did before and that you're doing now. And it's really exciting to be able to work with you. So yeah, it's really great. And we're ready for questions. If anyone has any questions, or I guess I'll ask a question. Is anyone on today interested in potentially being a facilitator wherever you are? And if you are, share maybe if it's at an agency in the community, a state op, an ICF. If you're having any fears or doubts or concerns, or I can certainly answer any questions that you might have, please feel free to type in the chat. And then Christine, I'll ask you to fill in if I've missed anything.
Sure.
There's always something I miss.
And this is Christine Beck from the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. And we have had folks who have said that, you know what, I'm not with an agency or organization, but I know some folks with disabilities. And if you can gather up a couple people that you think, yeah, this could be an amazing thing to do, then this ambassador leadership program is for you. We all are all learning with and from each other. And to be a facilitator is an amazing experience. And we've heard from facilitators that I learned, I think, maybe more than the participants. And we do have someone, Dr. Sharon, who says, yes, I'm interested. I'm at Kylie Center up in Waukegan. And so thank you for sharing that you are interested.
So exciting. Yeah, we've done some staff training at Kylie, which was really exciting. The staff there were really eager and you know, excited to learn more about how to support advocates. So I love that Kylie is eager to start this. So fun.
And this is Christine again. I'll just add that you don't have to start with 10 or 11 people. We really do recommend that when you facilitate, it's with a small group, maybe 3 or 4 self-advocates. And that gives the opportunity to really learn with and from each other, to develop the relationships that are so important to people, and then to be able to support people in one-on-one mentoring. We don't want you to bite off more than you can chew. So starting small and really getting your footing with this is the way to go.
Right. And I just want to send Christine's, give Christine a shout out. In the facilitator guide, it is very laid out, down to scripts that you will say, or you can say, down to, these are the materials you need. This is what to welcome the group to the program. Place the pens and highlighters on the table. We don't want anyone to feel like they're a fish on a water here. That everything is very easy to use, and we don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by this process. If anything else, we're here to help work through this with you. This is much an experience and experiment for us at the Alliance too. So we're all in it together to learn with and from each other.
Right. And I don't see any other questions, comments, or contributions.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And please, if you are interested or you want to talk through this some more, happy to set up some individual calls with anyone who wants to talk through this more. My email is tara.advocacy@gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from you, and be on the lookout for information about our facilitator training in the coming weeks. So thank you all, and sending love to Adam. Thank you so much for your hard work, and we really appreciate you. And then also wanting to thank our closed captioner today for providing those services as well. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Adam, you're getting lots of love in the chat. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Be safe.